Good morning. So I want to start by offering thanks to the entire team from Alony Hetz for first the hospitality they've shown us on our trip to Israel. It's always an amazing experience to visit here. I noticed in the pictures from the last time I was here, I've gotten a little grayer. That's what happens with the passage of time. But the relationship with Nathan, Avi, Modi, and the team has really been incredible. They have helped us learn a great deal and helped us grow an amazing business. So without their support, we wouldn't be here today. So a couple of interesting observations before I get started. Nathan and Modi pulled us aside and said, when you see these really high IRRs from other companies, don't feel bad. So when I see the IRR from a Moat and Energix, we can aspire to that, so we've got something to shoot for. And then secondly, I think there must be a correlation between dysfunctional governments and attractive real estate investing. Between Israel, the UK, and the US, we've got it covered. So I'll get started. I'm also very pleased that I'm looking at a screen in English. It would have been a very bad presentation. Carr, we're set up as a private real estate investment trust. So we're based in Washington, D.C., as most of you know. We recently expanded up into the Boston market, and we really focus on just a handful of things. We own quality buildings. We own buildings in urban, highly amenitized locations. We think of it as we own properties where people want to work, where they have a great experience. We're also a leader on the development side of the business. Today, our customers are demanding, high quality, highly efficient, highly amenitized space. And we think the best way to deliver that is through newly developed assets. They fit best with what today's companies are looking for to create the best environment for their employees. We're also really pushing into reimagining the office business. Office is a business that really hasn't changed for a long, long time. We've built them the same. I think we've had a fairly generic approach to the public spaces, how we operate buildings. And today we're seeing a massive convergence of hospitality, residential, and office, meaning everything is coming together in terms of you need great design, you've got to create an amazing experience for your customers, you've got to offer a higher level of amenities, and at the end of the day, this is all about us creating an environment for our customers so that they can attract and retain the best talent. So that's, at the end of the day, what it's really all about. So today the portfolio includes 17 existing buildings. We're very well leased. We're at 95% leased. That's against a market occupancy rate of about 83%, so we're very stable. High quality buildings attract tenancy. Our buildings are all located within, say 1 to 2 blocks of public transportation of the metro. That's where tenants want to be. And our team has really done an excellent job at both attracting new customers and retaining our existing customers. And then we drive growth and development. And today we're very active. We have 2.2 million square feet of development underway. Total cost of that future development is about $1.3 billion, and I'll get into more specifics on that. But development has been the way we have created value both historically and is how we will create value looking forward. And that really is our competitive advantage. Our development team, I think, is certainly the best today in the DC market, and we're very excited to have now moved into Boston. The slide here says acquire, build, lease. Sometimes we like to acquire, lease, build, so it's not always in that order. But our team is very good at finding unique opportunities, bringing them in on time, on budget, and executing leasing in line with our plan. With an active development business, it's very important to maintain conservative leverage Development brings some inherent risks in terms of, managing construction costs, project timing, making sure we stay on task in terms of meeting our leasing objectives. So with all of that happening, and given that development is a long duration or longer duration investment, it's critical that we maintain a conservative balance sheet. So today the company is leveraged at just about 41%. So one of the big trends in the U.S., there's several, but one is urbanization. I would say the big trends in office today are urbanization, densification, meaning that more people are working in less space. And the third big trend that we have our eye on is the demand for flexible workspace. But back to urbanization, when you look at our holdings, we are entirely urban. So as I referenced, all of our assets are located in close proximity to metro stations, walking distance to restaurants, to shops. It's where people want to be. And we've seen many large companies move from the old, suburban campus back into the downtowns, and we're perfectly positioned to accept that demand. And Boston now represents about 18% of our portfolio. I think we're met with some skepticism initially about our ability to expand into Boston. Boston is a smaller market. The downtown is about half the size of DC. It's very local there. It's hard to penetrate. It's very much a kind of who you know market. It's probably more like a Tel Aviv than like a DC, which is a large, incredibly open market in terms of a lot of transactions, a lot of liquidity. So we feel incredibly fortunate to have two major assets in that market today. We bought 200 State Street, which is more of a core holding downtown. We view that as kind of our beachhead in that market that we can build upon. And then we were able to acquire a 50% interest in One Congress, which I'll speak more about later. But we think that will be one of the most iconic special developments in Boston. So we're off to a great start. We have been in the news. I think this just shows that we've been quite active in the market. Our team is always looking for the next opportunity, be it a development opportunity, the ability to perhaps recycle an existing building, and always be improving quality, always looking to build on profits. So we've been quite active. We're very proud of the fact that our Midtown Center development has received numerous awards as the best new project in Washington, D.C. from groups like the Urban Land Institute. So the company is receiving accolades for the good work we've been doing. Generally, we're a multi-tenant company. We tend to avoid large tenant concentration. Exceptions are Fannie Mae at Midtown Center, which is a AA plus credit tenant, and then State Street at our One Congress development, which is a single A credit tenant. State Street is committed to lease more than half of that building. But generally, we're a multi-tenant company, and that's a snapshot of some of the wonderful customers that we serve. So our performance has been strong historically. These are metrics from 2014 through 2019. You can see strong growth in NOI of 70%, growth in FFO of 54%. We're maintaining modest leverage, as you see. We've moderately increased from being in the mid-30s to just over 40% debt, and our NAV increase has trended nicely at 27%, and we're paying over a 4% dividend annually. So that's in addition to the NAV growth that you see. In terms of our financial positioning, very conservative balance sheet. 43% leverage today. We've got tremendous flexibility. We're organized so that we've got a large unsecured credit facility that we can use to fund acquisitions and fund our required equity share for new developments. And then we typically will put on construction financing at the project level. And we have a mix, of our assets. Some are unsecured that support our revolver, our credit facility, and some are leveraged at the asset level. Debt maturity, this chart is a little bit misleading. It looks like we have a lot of debt maturing. That is true, but for example, in 2020, the bulk of that 36.75% is the construction loan on Midtown Center, and we're in the process of refinancing that asset today with long-term debt, which we believe will be on very attractive terms. And then in 2021, we will be extending our credit facility, so you can really look through those near-term debt maturities to a very staggered debt profile. 63% of our debt between what is fixed rate and swapped is in effect fixed rate financing. So we're conservative in terms of our mix of floating and fixed rate debt as well. Development is how we create growth. So if you look forward both on a NOI basis and on an FFO growth basis, each metric we're projecting to grow by about 100% through 2024. So the growth is coming, and much of the leasing on those new developments is already in hand. Our One Congress project today is 52% leased to State Street Financial. And our Wilson development in Bethesda, Maryland, which is the office component, is about 365,000 feet. That is now almost 80% pre-leased, and that's a project that delivers in the fall of 2020. So we're well ahead of plan from a leasing perspective on both projects. So in terms of the markets, Washington, D.C. and Boston are very, I'd say, good examples of markets being driven by different industries and offer different levels of stability. D.C. is a large market. It's the second largest office market in the U.S. When you look just at the downtown, we're the third largest downtown market in the U.S. It's known as a stable market. D.C. doesn't see the highs and lows that other markets in the U.S. Exhibit. So typically in recessions, we outperform. In times of high growth, D.C. may be a bit more modest. And I think when you look at the underlying economy, D.C. has seen tremendous population growth, tremendous job growth, but its industries are still, I'd say, a little bit more kind of consulting, financial services, law. We're not driven as much by technology, by life science, some of the higher growth industries. So think of D.C. as a kind of a slow and steady market. We have a highly educated workforce in D.C., I think the most educated in the U.S. And when we get to let me go back here. The last point there about Amazon HQ2 locating to D.C., that's all about the quality of our workforce. Amazon sees Washington as a place where they can recruit talent, where they can find the best and brightest employees. And I think Amazon is a very important, relocation to DC is very important when you look at our market over 10 years. That has validated Washington as a technology market. We are hopeful that other technologies will come, and that will really start to drive growth in the local economy. More about Amazon in a moment. I referenced steady population growth and job growth. You can see it's slow and steady as described. That's what Washington is all about. And then in the local market, we do receive a disproportionate share of federal spending. So out of all the dollars that the government spends in the U.S., the D.C. market tends to receive about 25 to 30%. So whenever the government increases spending, that benefits the local economy. And we have seen increases in defense spending as of late, and our market is seeing a disproportionate share. So Amazon, as I said, I think is a tremendous validation of the DC market. When you look at that deal on its own, it's pretty sizable. This will be the second largest headquarters in the U.S. for Amazon. They're hiring 25,000 people in the market, and they anticipate occupying 4.5 to 5 million feet. When you look at what has happened in Seattle, Amazon has tended to have a doubling effect, meaning that if Amazon's going to hire 25,000 employees directly, we anticipate other technology companies and other service industries to kind of equal that growth. So we're very hopeful about what Amazon will do to kind of jumpstart the regional economy. So Boston, I mentioned, is about, the downtown market there is about half the size of the Washington market. And I really think Boston has everything today that you want in a market. It's really an exceptional place. We're not invested in the San Francisco Bay Area, but in terms of the eastern U.S., I would say this is the best market in the country in terms of growth prospects and in terms of the long-term fundamentals. It's really got an amazing ecosystem. Boston is led by tremendous research universities with MIT and Harvard, and the quality of the education and the research and the professors there has attracted all of the best technology companies and all of the best life science companies. And what gets created is a real ecosystem where the companies want to be by the universities are constantly spinning out new research, which is forming new companies, and it feeds off of itself. So the growth in that market has been exceptional. And if you look at, we'll turn to demand and rent growth, but when you look at demand in that market, if you're looking for over 50,000 square feet of space, you're a company that needs 50 or 100,000 feet, there are more companies like you competing for space than there is space available. So you're seeing dramatic increases in rents, big competition for space, and from a supply perspective, the market is very much, I'd say, in control. It's a market that's difficult to build in. You've got the historic sections of Boston, you've got the waterfront, which are natural barriers where you obviously can't build, and you've got a very difficult political process in terms of getting new projects approved. So it's a challenging place to build in. So when you can find a site, you're typically going to be set up for success. And we're very hopeful about our One Congress development given all these fundamentals. This is a snapshot of growth. So just last year, in the urban markets in Boston, rent growth was almost 8%, just in 1 year. We're not today in the life science business, but if you look in the Cambridge market for life science, the vacancy rate there is 0%, and rent growth has been off the charts, over 10% per year. So the fundamentals in Boston are really terrific. So when I opened, I talked about how we're really rethinking our business. We, in the U.S., the terminology, is tenants, right? It's landlord and tenant. We're really trying to shift that mindset. These are our customers, and we're trying to approach the business in a manner where we are all about giving our customers what they need. It's not just the landlord being absentee, collecting a check with no relationship with our customers. We really want to be engaged. We want to listen to them to see what they need, and we want to offer the right environment and amenities that help them thrive. So it really is it sounds basic, but it really is a very different approach to the business. This is kind of a summary of our approach, but so we're trying to own buildings that are different. So I mentioned urban locations, on public transit, that's critically important. We also want to offer features like amazing roof decks, amazing fitness centers, common areas that are unique where we can, create something different that's very appealing. We're approaching leasing in the manner of how can we create more speed? So both in leasing and construction, we want to shorten the time from starting a transaction to finishing transactions. Real estate is a slow business, and our mindset is how can we get rid of all inefficiencies and also use technology to get faster. So we're trying to kind of speed up our business and do things in a much more friendly manner. These are core basics for our company. So if assets can't kind of fit these categories, we won't buy it. We don't want to own it. So it's all about, does a building offer the ability to create a unique space? That's number one. I mentioned public transit, walkable amenities and restaurants, and then as owners, we're really reframing our thinking. Here's an overview of what we're doing on the technology side. Alon has led that charge and is doing an amazing job. So we're looking at, how do we provide best-in-class Wi-Fi throughout all of our buildings so that you could be working in the garage, the rooftop, anywhere. We want our customers to be able to work very effectively and efficiently. The left portion of the screen shows the Carr Properties experience application that we developed actually in-house, and we've launched it at our 1615 L Street building. This is for all of our customers to use. It's all about how do we, again, kind of simplify their life. So with the app, they can do a variety of things, from ordering food that will be delivered to their office suite. They can order a take-home meal if they want to, take dinner home with them. They can order their car from the garage. They can sign up for fitness classes. So we really see technology as a tool to help us improve our relationship with our customers. We're excited about the ability to integrate food and beverage into the building. So the idea of really an office building offering room service is pretty novel. And that's what we're rolling out at our 1615 L Street headquarters building, and we'll be pushing out throughout our portfolio. Wave Office is our version of flexible office space, and I'll speak a bit about our view of the flexible office space demand that's happening. We think of buildings as like a layer cake, if you can see that image, where the top of the building is long-term traditional leases. We'll then have a layer of flexible workspace, which could be our Wave Office product, which is really, think of it as pre-built space with amazing common amenities that you can rent for 1 year or more. We also believe that co-working is very important as part of the overall building mix. So we're looking at ways to offer maybe a floor, maybe 2 floors of co-working within our buildings. And the theory is that, again, talking about ecosystems, that smaller companies will occupy the co-working. They'll graduate maybe into our Wave Office and then graduate up into permanent space. The other side of that is if a large company is our tenant, they may bring in a team for a special assignment, some kind of temporary work. We've got the facilities on site for them to occupy. And then, so that, we see that all working together. And then the ground floor is the amazing amenity space, which I referenced. So that's interesting lobbies, great fitness centers, conferencing space, amenity space. So that's how it all works together. 1615 L Street is where we have our office, and this is a kind of a good case study on what we have in mind in terms of delivering hospitality to the office space. So take a look at some of these photos. 1615 L is it's a unique building with special interior terraces. It's mid-block. It's probably 20 years old, and it's 420,000 feet in total size. Before we renovated it, I think most people would say it's okay, nothing special, but we've had the ability to really transform this asset into something special, and our customers love it. That's a view of the lobby before and after. If anyone was looking for pink granite, we have plenty. Yeah, the building was all pink stone, and we hired a terrific interior hospitality designer out of Boston and really reimagined the building. The wrong way. In the top right photo, what you can see is we installed a lobby bar, seating areas. Now at the reception, we will no longer have building security. It'll be our people, much like when you check into a hotel. So we're all about trying to create a hospitality environment and create different places for people to work. So there's plenty of soft seating in the lobbies. You can take your laptop, go work outside of the office. Roof decks are very important. DC is we're a short city, so we love our roof decks. There's a height limit in Washington. So actually when you get up onto the roof, most of the views are pretty good. They're unbroken. And so from the roof of 1615L, amazing views of the Washington Monument. But what's unique is we've really set this up to drive events. We think that there's upside in rooftop and lobby event income that we're not capturing today. So looking forward, we plan on really driving event business up on our rooftops. It's a snapshot of our fitness center. So our fitness centers are really spa quality. We're trying to do all these things so that our customers love us, they don't want to leave, and they pay more rent when they renew their lease. And it's a long-term plan in terms of seeing the results of these upgrades, but we're very hopeful it's going to pay handsome dividends. So development has been our core value driver. This is an overview of projects that we have developed. So when you look at our existing portfolio, half of everything that we've owned, we built. So the Carr portfolio is very young on a relative basis. In office, that's critically important because older buildings tend to need more repairs, more renovation. They require more ongoing capital in terms of ownership. Young buildings are much more efficient, so we like the fact that the age of our portfolio is very youthful. And then looking forward, as we deliver additional buildings, you'll see our percentage of the assets in our portfolio that we've built rising to 65%. It's a summary of the current projects. The Wilson and the Elm in Bethesda, Maryland. In total, it's almost 1 million square feet. The reference you see is just the office space at 361,000 feet. The total project is 940,000 feet. So it's both office, multifamily, apartments, as well as retail. Signal House is a very cool project in an emerging part of DC. This is really what's known as kind of a creative class building. And then lastly, One Congress in Boston is an iconic tower that we think will be part of the new kind of center and heart of downtown Boston. And I'll share a bit more about each of these projects. And first, to look back to Midtown Center. This is our baby. When Nathan showed the chart of the company generating about $400 million in gains, Midtown alone created about $400 million of value creation. It's an amazing story. We built this project for just under $700 a foot. When the value's fully recognized, it'll be about $1,100 a square foot, making it one of the most valuable buildings in all of Washington. But its unique design, we've won numerous awards for the project, and it offers amazing, street retail with almost 50,000 feet of restaurants, and we've helped to transform a part of downtown Washington that was very attractive but not as activated. So Midtown has really changed this part of the city. And we did build to LEED Gold certification. The company is very forward-thinking when it comes to sustainability. So any project we build is either LEED Gold or LEED Platinum certified. And we're one of the first companies in Washington to take advantage of solar installations in our buildings. We've installed solar on 2 buildings already. We're working on a 3rd as we speak. So we're trying to continue to kind of push forward with our sustainability efforts. Fannie Mae is our largest tenant at Midtown Center, as most of you know. They signed a lease for about 750,000 feet. We had a small piece of vacancy in the office of about 70,000 feet, and we're pleased to announce that the project is now 100% leased. We signed a deal with WeWork to backfill the remaining vacancy. So the commercial side of the project is 100% leased. Of the retail, we have 2 very small blocks remaining. So the overall project today is about 99% leased. That's a shot of the alley at Midtown. So we own the building in this photo to the left, and then Midtown Center's to the right. But we're trying to do things that are different. So this will be a kind of a fun beer garden, cool spot in the middle of the city for people to hang out at. It's a unique design. It's special. So we love to create these special places that people like to go. It's what helps to activate the downtown, make it interesting, and Midtown has done a terrific job in this case. It's a view of the lobby. We had very unique design. We worked with Shop Architecture out of New York. They're one of the best architects in the world today, but they created an iconic design both for the exterior and the interior of the building. So the Wilson and the Elm, so this project is in Bethesda, Maryland. Bethesda is a kind of an urban suburb about 20 minutes outside of Washington, and it sits right on top of the subway line. This will be the tallest building ever built in Bethesda. These towers will be about 300 feet in height. And the funny story there is that I live in Bethesda, and my wife has been very threatening to me that if she can see these buildings from our home, I'm in significant trouble. So I've been planting large trees all around our yard. But what you see on the left side of the photo here is the commercial building. In the back is the residential. So it's, again, 361,000 feet of office space and just over 450 multi-family units. This project is special. So when you look at Bethesda, traditionally the highest rents in the markets were kind of mid-40s per square foot. We built 4500 East West Highway, which was a LEED Platinum project we delivered there. We then took rents in the market up to the low 50s. This project will achieve rents kind of mid-60s. So every new project we build in Bethesda, we're able to significantly, bring rents up in the market. And there's really no comparison to this project. It offers column-free floor plates, incredible views. We're 100 feet taller than any other building close by. We have an amazing area called Bethesda Row, which is kind of a central shopping area in Bethesda right at our back door. And the project sits at the intersection of 2 rail lines. So the red line, which is the main DC Metro line to downtown, is at our corner. And there's a new commuter line in Montgomery County, Maryland, also located at our corner. So you've got 2 rail lines. We actually also have the best biking trail in the market right at our front door, retail to the back, amazing views. So this project really has it all. That's a view of the retail that's, not even a block from the back of the building. And that's an image of the rail access I mentioned. Right at our front door, you've got 2 rail lines. So the ease of attracting employees to this site and the ease of our customers to get downtown is really unparalleled. From our building, it's 15 minutes on the metro to get to the heart of DC. And that's another image. So this really will change the skyline of this market. There's nothing like it. So it'll be, we'll invite you all over to come see it when it's done. It'll be exciting. Signal House. So this Austin Holderness, who runs our development team, was mentioned in the introduction, but this is really Austin's baby. He's been encouraging us to continue to push the envelope in terms of design, be creative, respond to what technology companies are looking for today. DC is generally a pretty institutional market and a little bit, stuffy, I would say, and we don't have as many kind of gritty industrial areas. But Signal House is located in a part of the city that really is going through great change. This is the place where we believe the tech companies will land in the city, where the creative tenants want to be. And Signal House responds to this tenant base. It's very unique architecture. You can see in total about 225,000 feet. This roof deck will have a catering kitchen where chefs from the neighborhood can come in and prepare foods, hold events, so that's very special. Ceiling heights here average about 10 feet in height, so fantastic ceiling heights. It really fits in making this neighborhood cool. It's a really unique, special, creative class building, and we think it's going to be highly in demand. We start construction on this project this summer. And then I'll close with One Congress up in Boston. So it's an interesting story how we kind of got into this transaction. It's a good story about sometimes when you lose, you actually win. So at our Wilson project in Bethesda, we'd been competing with 4 other owners for the Marriott headquarters. Marriott Hotel Corporation is moving to downtown Bethesda. We competed hard. Unfortunately, we lost. It was, a strong effort, but everyone who lost thinks they come in second. That's how it works. So we thought we came in second, and we decided to compare notes with one of the other firms that was competing and also lost the bid. So we got together, and it came up in the conversation that we were looking to invest in Boston, and they said, well, we have this great project in Boston. Why don't you join as our partner? And the project in Boston is One Congress, so here we are. So I think losing Marriott and creating what we're going to do in Bethesda, plus the combination of this win in Boston, we're far better off. So it was a tremendous outcome for us. That's a view of the building. It's pretty special. This will be the first new tower in downtown Boston in over 10 years. It's an exceptional design. The views over Boston Harbor, amazing. This project includes a 1-acre outdoor deck that extends off the 11th floor of the building. So imagine you're up in the air, call it 130 feet, something like that, in an outdoor park with amazing views of the water. It's really special. And that outdoor amenity space will only be for the use of our customers. So it's really dramatic in terms of the architecture, the amenities, the views. This project has it all. Today we are 52% leased to State Street. State Street took the lowest floors in the building, so we're left with the best to lease. So we're really going to try and drive our rent on the top of the building. Project in total is just under 1 million square feet in size. So this is special. I mean, Boston is incredibly hard to penetrate, and for us to have this opportunity in what's arguably the best market in the nation is pretty special. And we're starting construction of One Congress also this summer. We have the groundbreaking with the mayor of Boston coming up in a couple of weeks, and it'll deliver by the end of 2022. These are some images of the indoor space. And then talking about State Street, that's also an interesting story. So State Street has traditionally been an anchor in new developments in the city of Boston. State Street today is actually the largest tenant in Boston. They're going to get smaller by moving into One Congress. But they see this building and the location within Boston where One Congress will be as the next place, kind of the next heart of Boston. And State Street was really excited to move there to help, they're always looking to reinvent their culture, and this location and this building will help them do that. So we're incredibly fortunate to have a company of this size and this quality as our anchor for One Congress. My time is up. Thank you very much.